Okay, so the screen's black. Okay, we're live now.
Okay. Thank you for coming back to my channel. We are doing an interview today with Reva. She is a Blu-Ray Elven, and Kong Lee is with me also, and we're going to help to interview her. Thank you for coming to my channel, Reva, and talking about your origin.
Thank you guys for hosting this. I really appreciate the both of you very much.
You're so welcome. Well, tell me about yourself.
So, I had a spiritual awakening at the age of 33 to discover that I am in fact a Blu-ray starseed. At the time of my awakening, there wasn't many of us yet that have come forth and have been able to stand in our courage and be able to speak out about our experiences yet. So it took me a while of being alone in my own awakening and trying to glean the information that was necessary to help me, because there wasn't a lot of it at the time. And now I have actually cried tears of joy to see that there are more of us of that spectrum of creation being able to stand in the courage that it takes to come forward and speak about our experiences. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I spend my days as a medical laboratory technician for my local hospital. So medical science is part of my spirit, and I really enjoy that and what I do there. And before that, I was a public servant. So for many years, over a decade, I gave care to the lost and forgotten ones in our community, which is the developmentally delayed and our elders in nursing homes. And at the front of COVID during all of that time. So I'm coming through that period, and now I'm coming into being able to share and connect with you guys and others out there, and it's so exciting. And I'm so happy that I found you guys.
Yay! We're happy too. So tell me how you found out that you were a Blu-ray Elven.
Okay, so ever since I was a child, I was different. And I know a lot of starseeds or soul groups that's come in to assist feel this way. They feel like they knew, from their first moments of memory, that their experiences and how they felt about the world around them was different. And I could see, smell, hear into different realms as a child, especially the realm of fairy, which is another, that could be a whole nother discussion on its own about the New Earth movement and the face holes that are coming through right now. But the Blu-ray group is in alignment with fairy, and there is a lot of us that are in alignment with the elfin portion of fairy. And I could actually see them into these realms. I have memories of being 5 years old and then looking across the room and actually seeing an ethereal figure just coming through. And I spent my childhood in the woods. That was my sanctuary and my haven. There was a huge gully outside my home, and it dropped down into this beautiful woods. And I would go down there. My first memories of being close to nature, and being one with nature, meant a lot to me, even as a little girl. So as I grew up, I was always connected to those realms and those places. But when I turned 16, that's when the gifts started to get more strong. When I was 16, I woke up outside of my body, and I thought I had died, and I've seen myself sleeping. And there was a woman standing next to me with her hand out, and like she was blessing me, and she had a white robe with a white hood on, and she was blessing me as I slept, and these waves of vibrations were hitting me, and I really thought that I had died. But come to find out now recently, now this is where it starts getting really convoluted. Because I feel like the further and higher you go in consciousness, the more convoluted it becomes. But that was actually my Pleiadian self.
Oh, wow. So
it's a dimensional Pleiadian version of me assisting me now in this life. That's what I've come to find.
Interesting.
So we truly are multi-dimensional beings. And I started to think of that in the consciousness that it is. When that happened to me, I wanted to know more. It was scary, but I wanted to know more. It was like an insatiable knowing, because that's just the way my mind operates, I guess. I want to know things, and I'm curious and want to discover. So it led me to discovery after discovery, and I started astral traveling to different places and events. And it got to one point where it was too much for me, and it was scaring me. I didn't want to go to sleep because it was happening like every single night.
Right.
So I asked Source to shut it off, and they did. And then later on, here, boom, I hit the age of 33, and it was like the third eye just cracked wide open. And I'm like, I know I'm not going crazy. What is going on? I see all these numbers. I'm traveling every night, like, and all these events and knowings and prophecies that I see that come to fulfillment. And it was so bad over at times that I had to lay down and just take the waves of that ascension that was coming on me. But I know that 3 is a sacred number to me. So I know that it was no accident. And then come to find out later, a lot of the other Blu-ray souls are speaking out saying, yes, I had a pre-programmed awakening too. And it was at this age. So it's so lovely to finally understanding and community with us. And yeah, that's a little bit of my backstory. And then after I accepted my awakening, I no longer want to hide my light. I feel like for Blu-rays, many of us, we knew our gifts for a long time. Mm-hmm. And it was so hard for us to be able to just be ourselves and shine our light. Because we're transmuters of heavy densities, or mirrors for things that people don't like within themselves. Are you guys familiar with the Bernoulli's principle of air going into an object and then pushing something out? If it's like a tube,
yes, I'm
and you
familiar
have
with
something
that, yeah.
in there, it'll move in, and as it moves in, it blows it out.
Interesting.
So it's kind of like the concept of our field. We can literally don't even have to say nothing. We walk into a room, and it blasts out things that are hanging on to energies on people. So for us, that can create a little bit of a tension for others that aren't used to that. And they either love us or they dislike us. There's like this polarization effect, and many of us know this intrinsically. So it was so hard for us just to be able to come out and make connections. And like I said, I cried tears of joy once I I found out that there are many more of us that are starting to speak right now at this time. And we're not afraid to shine our light anymore.
Right.
And that goes for everybody, I think, not just the Blu-rays, but I think that goes for everybody, all of the souls that are older and that are here. We're like, we know things, and we are here to share that.
Exactly. Kong, you have any questions?
So you're here to help with ascension. Is that why you're here?
Yes, I think our own ascension is what we're here for on the first mission. So we're always here for our own awakening. And then I feel the gifts that you possess to help your fellow man comes later.
Yeah.
So I feel each and every one of us help each other. We help each other in a symbiotic relationship. And that's the way nature is supposed to be. And you see this organically in nature, and I believe that way for us as well. We're here for us, and then we're here for each other.
Right.
We are here together.
So yeah, let me put this into a little bit more perspective for you to understand how crazy this is. Is that imagine how we can have compassion for somebody else, right? And how we can help them out, right? Either through service, giving them something, or giving them our time, right, or energy. Mm-hmm. And the reward is that we can get some merit back, right, at a later time. But now imagine it being on a planetary scale. That there's a whole nother race, many races here, helping the whole collective ascend. Imagine how much merit that is. And that's the reason why they're here. And that's the reason why we're all here. So just multiply that. That's just insane.
Yes, isn't it a beautiful thing once you start to bring that into the concept?
Yeah.
Because I believe that planets in themselves have their own karma. They have their own ascension, like you're saying, on a planetary scale. And for the planet Earth, we are so young compared to the rest of just this universe alone. Mm-hmm. And our planet is a living, breathing thing. It is alive. It is Gaia. It is the mother. We are a part of her, and she is a part of us. And she has her own cycles, planetary ascension. So yes, I believe that, and that is a beautiful concept to get out there into the public and share with others.
I think it's amazing that Earth, Gaia, is a living entity as well. When I do hypnotism, and I read a lot of Dolores Cannon's books. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Oh, I love her.
Yeah. She talks about how Earth is living and breathing, and we're supposed to be actually how do I word this? One of the less evolved planets. That's why, you said we're all young. We are. And a lot of the bad people here among the entities, meaning extraterrestrials that come here, have bad energies. It's really weighing on Earth. And so that's a lot of our problem.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the destruction of her body.
Oh, yeah.
What is happening for monetary gain. Because to me, when I think of the concept of money, it's not real. Mm-hmm. So money does not exist. It's not real.
Right.
It is not a nutrient to our body. That is not something that can be gleaned from nature. It is a piece of paper.
Right.
That holds sway over people's decisions of their lives. Mm-hmm. And I think that the higher powers know this. And they have people trapped under that. Yes, it has a value to us because we have to have it to live. but we don't have to have it to live, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things, and I think back to think of the primordial earth and the first root races that existed here on Earth. They didn't have money.
Right.
They had the earth.
Yes, humans
I
are the
wish
only.
that we could get to a point, society-wise, to be able to come back to that again. Because that's the true freedom in our lives, is to be free from a concept of money that does not exist.
Right. What were you going to say about the humans, Con?
Yeah, I was gonna say that humans are the only ones that use money. So the other animals, they don't. So that there seems to be something wrong about that.
Yes, I agree. Very much.
Yeah. The extraterrestrials express many times that how they are baffled that we kill our own animals and eat them. It's bad. We're not supposed to have such drastic weather changes too on Earth. For instance, our winters aren't supposed to be that bad, nor is summer. And then also the extraterrestrials, what they do, since they don't have money, is they barter. If they are growing food and somebody wants something else like clothes, well, they'll swap. And that's how they live. And I think that's a great idea.
Yes, absolutely. I have seen other societies on another planet, and they actually come out and can manipulate DNA if somebody hurts themselves. So imagine that, your neighbor, if you fall down outside and you hurt your knee, your neighbor will come running out of the house and put their hand on you.
Wow.
And actually manipulate the DNA and heal you. So I believe that Earth is going to get there.
Oh, it will. I've seen it.
One day.
I had a vision. I was watching TV one day, and it was this it switched, and it was in my third eye, and it was beautiful. We're going to have crystalline buildings. Our dress attire that we're going to be wearing, they're really similar. And what I saw was a man and a woman kind of like in a light gray outfit, but different. And then the oceans weren't polluted. I mean, everything was just calm, beautiful, and peaceful. And I was like, whoa, okay. I did a video on it. I don't know if you've seen it, but it was a nice vision. I don't think it's going to be in the near future, though.
It might be some more time.
Yeah.
The cycles as well, I believe right now in this yuga, or this cycle that we're in now, the collective consciousness is in the shadow portion, or the earth is in that shadow portion during the work. And that's why all of this trouble is on us, or we feel like this shift is coming. But also because we're moving into the earth. I think you had a vision of the new earth, and what was prophesied many thousands of years ago is the next yuga that's coming. So that's going to cycle over to that. So it's going to be beautiful, and the golden age is coming. But the thing about time, to us, it's so different. Our lives here, even if you live to be 100 years old, is nothing in the blink or span of the all, or the source consciousness. Time doesn't exist. 1,000 years is but a day, and a day is but 1,000 years. So for us, all these memories of a lifespan that's, even if you live to be 100, that's just like a puff of smoke in the wind, you know?
Right.
So.
Right. That's so interesting. Kong, do you have another question you want to ask?
I was gonna adjust something, but let's see. I was gonna say that from what I've read too is that we have 26,000 year cycles, and it's people are gonna graduate, and they're not going to be in 3D anymore, you know. So I'm really excited about that, you know. I think that I'm kind of tired of living in 3D, I guess. But
Yeah.
you know, but I guess there must be something more to it, right? That we all have to learn since we've chosen to come at this time, not just for Ascension, but I think you have to not just look at the quote short term in terms of like even 26,000 years, but the long term, right? In terms of like the whole length of your soul, and it's just going to be another marker in your soul's journey. So I think that's kind of important to point out. I mean, we don't know how many ascensions we've been through already, right? So I just, I mean, who knows? But, again, it's exciting. So I'm glad that I'm, able to be here with you all and to be able to share what resonates with me. So, yeah.
What?
Well, I'm
Go
happy
ahead.
for you guys too. I just wanted to say I'm happy to be with you guys too and to meet you.
Awesome. Well, I hope that in the future we could do these often, because I know we come up with new things almost every day anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Well,
I wanted to ask.
oh yeah, yeah. I was just gonna say there is a soft disclosure going on YouTube, anyways. So, I mean, I'm really excited to see those kinds of things, So, yeah.
What do you think of Cern?
That has been a topic this past couple of weeks. And to me, I think that I know a little bit of the physics portion of it. And I honestly would probably like to revisit that or study that a little bit more. Because I understand like the inner workings of a black hole and astrophysics. That's something that I really enjoy studying. And to me, I feel like the particles that are coming around and smashing into each other are too small to be able to warp space and time. I think for something like that, it would have to be on a massive scale, like the supermassive black hole at the center of our galaxy. This is a perfect example because my sister actually said something about this the other day. She said, "Do you feel that Cern can warp space and time, and that's why we all feel that time is speeding up?" And I said, well, yes and no. Because yes, they are smashing the particles together, but I feel that it would have to be on a large scale. And right now, as our solar system bobs up and down in the galaxy, the Milky Way, we are now in alignment with the center. So I feel that's why time feels for all of us to be like speeding up, and it's almost like a warp. Kind of feeling these days are going by so fast, or we'll actually have time. I don't know. I'm pretty sure you guys have had this to where, you're driving or you're doing something, just everyday activity, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, it's been 5 hours. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And I feel that's because we're in alignment at the center of the galaxy is why. That supermassive black hole that's powering them is actually doing that.
Right.
Tugging on our system. But CERN would have to be really, really large, I feel, to be able to do that. Because as far as my knowledge goes, it's only like 1 or 2 particles smashing into each other. And there are literally millions that make up physical matter. So.
Right.
I do think that you do have to consider the size of CERN too. I'm not saying that it doesn't have much impact, but it does. considering the size of the magnets that they have there and all the other stuff that is used to cool it. So, yeah.
I know they said when they first started doing it that when this energy starts spreading, that vertigo could be one of the side effects for some people. And I've had it for 2 days. I have vertigo as it is, but mine started yesterday morning, and I'm like, whoa, it was different. And it's not my normal vertigo. But if I look up, I'll start spinning. If I look down and start spinning, it's crazy. And I got out of bed this morning, and I'm standing there, and I'm spinning, and I close my eyes because it cannot interfere in my work schedule. And mine lasts for days. And I'm sitting there saying, go away, go away, go away. And it finally subsided. But I feel like it's a different kind of vertigo. So I'm assuming it's from Cern. It's the only thing I can think of.
Okay.
I've heard of other people feeling tired and fatigued. I don't know if it's coincidental or if it's Cern. You just never know.
Right.
Yeah. So you said you've been on one of these planets and you've seen things. Can you describe one?
Yes. Actually, I've seen the Blu-Ray planets. So, astrally, I was taken to this gigantic blue star. And I was in a ship. And I seen the planet down below. And then I came down into it, and it almost looked like Switzerland, or a place that was beautiful fields of flowers and this huge mountain.
Wow.
In the background. And then I was shown a city, and it had like rivers running through it, and like these beautiful carved wooden door decorations, and a lantern hung on every single doorpost, and there was like little boats
Aww.
in it. So that's more like a natural planet. And then I've also seen the tall white with gold eyes Nordic kind of being. I've seen them, and I actually talked to one of them. And that was during my awakening when I was taken there. And I actually came to their door of their house, and a girl answered it, and she had these big gold eyes and white hair. And I asked, I said, are you part of the Christ consciousness, the Christ spark? And it almost like I could feel the energy of like, well, of course I am. That's the kind of energy I got was, oh, of course I am. Why wouldn't I be?
Mm-hmm.
And their houses were very high-tech looking. Like there was like glass ceilings.
Ooh.
Almost like a greenhouse looking kind of slant glass ceilings, I'm assuming for like solar energy. And lots of plants everywhere. And they were really wide and open, but it was like all clear, like glass.
Wow. That's interesting. Wow. I want to say I've seen a couple planets myself, but I second guess it. But one was red with mountains, and that's really all but I saw because it was dark. So it was very unusual, the scenery of it. The sky was red, the planet was red and brown and with mountains, and that's all I remember.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel that could have been one of your lives, like a cellular memory of you, it being shown that was part of one of your past lives there?
Yeah. I don't think they'll have me, either I triggered the vision of it or they did to show me. So I know that everything's done for a reason. It would be odd if they just showed me a planet and I had nothing to do with it, So that's how I look at it. I'm like, they're showing me something to trigger something, So, but yeah, that's one thing I come up with. Have you ever felt a download yet?
Yes. When I had my awakening, it was so bad to where I had to ask them to shut it off.
Wow.
Like I would be in the shower and I'm like, okay, really guys? Like, come on, I'm trying to live like my life right now.
Right.
But yes, I have actually integrated that a little bit better now that I'm years into it.
Good.
But yes, I get downloads daily on things.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it'll be from certain energies. I work a lot with the archangels,
Nice.
Archangel Michael and Zadkiel. Serapis Bey has been coming forward since the Lionsgate portal.
Yeah.
His energy has come through, and he is telling us to have strength and courage to ascend.
Mm-hmm.
Right now.
Right.
So, the light codes that I get every single day will trigger or resonate some sort of download at the time that I see them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of like what it's morphed into years later now. So yes, definitely daily downloads.
Right. Awesome. Kong, have you ever felt a download yet?
No, not for me. I can't say. But I do get, I don't know, intuition sometimes when it might be relevant. Yeah.
I think that when you question, like you said, your intuition, question if it's right or wrong, or if for other people they feel like they're making it up. I recently, because I see things so easy, I mean really easy, and one day in my head I was just thinking, well, how do I know I'm not making this stuff up, or envisioning things or imagining things? And I had a voice come right through saying, this all comes natural to you, it's so easy for you, and that's why you question it. And I'm like, oh, okay, thanks.
Yeah, I would say I'm kind of the opposite. I think, for whatever reason, yeah, I don't get a lot of information. I do get my questions answered, but it usually happens maybe like a week later. I'll get, and the answers come in different forms. Sometimes they come on, it'll be like on Facebook, or sometimes it's a YouTube video, or I'll come across a book or something, and that can help answer some of the questions I might have. Yeah.
That's nice. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I want to also ask you, Reva, I've told you that multidimensionals come to visit me. Do you have anything like that happening to you?
Yes, and I feel like, and I'm sure like other people can resonate with this, that something is going on with the thinning of the veil. It's becoming more and more thin as the days struck on.
Mm-hmm.
The past couple of years alone, I have seen so many orbs, light ships, actually seen them up in the sky, visits, and fairy is coming through. More flora growing in places that I wouldn't have guessed before, and fauna that I have seen in places that I wouldn't have imagined them being. It's the thinning of the veil is becoming even more apparent. It is exciting to see that right now. But yes, absolutely. I pick up in orbs, and definitely I'm hearing more singing and tones and things like this. It's just that the merger is coming. So yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Definitely pick up in that.
Good. That's so interesting. Do your ears ring?
Oh yes, a lot.
Like non-stop, or just off and on?
Off and on. I'd say probably a couple times, couple weeks into it. So it's not like tinnitus to where it would like I'd have to go to a doctor, like there would be something medically wrong. It's just
Right.
you'll get it, and it's that like that tone. It's like, oh, you get that, but that doesn't happen daily.
Yeah.
But it does happen more often.
Yeah. I know mine is a constant high-pitched ring. And when I was a kid, I thought it was electricity that I was hearing, because when all the sound TVs are off and you're in bed, nothing on, I can really hear it, and it's hard to sleep. And that's another reason why at this time I got to sleep with the TVs, to drown out that noise. But I think it was, they do ring differently sometimes, but last year when I went to Sedona, it would get where it would do what you said, fluctuate, and the tones would change. And there was one night where I was sleeping, and I woke up with scream ringing in my ears, and I'm saying, you're going to bust my eardrums. Can you turn it down? And I didn't. And it was excruciating. I'm like, what's going on?
What?
And that happened twice. And I really don't want to go through that again, unless I really have to. But yeah, I've had 2 downloads that were coming through. Well, one was coming through my head because I could feel it. And the last one, and recent one, I can't even explain where it goes to, but I had one and I felt it like air thumping through my head. But I had my eyes closed, and I seen it all in my eyes. It was like pyramids and symbols and all kinds of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one was coming down on my bed, and I was watching it with my eyes, and I'm like, what is this? I don't know. So,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think everybody's different. Of course, they can't all have the same download, I'm guessing. Not sure.
I've been feeling a lot, seeing a lot of what you described. For me, it has been the ETs coming through and helping and assisting.
Nice.
There's been much Pleiadian, Lyran energy coming through.
Mm-hmm.
And I've actually awoken astrally a couple weeks ago. I was sleeping, and I awoke astrally, and they were behind me. Actually, they were sending vibrations to like the base of my skull.
Mm-hmm.
And I freaked out for a minute. I said, "Is this to help me? Is this to help me?" And then immediately they're like, "Yes, calm down, like, relax, it's okay." And I just relaxed and let them heal me. So they have been coming through and tuning up, or fine tuning the field. That's what's going on. They're just preparing us for the shift into 5G. Because it's such a high frequency that I think that physical and astral has to be tuned. So.
Yeah, I would agree. So Kong, he struggles a little bit. I know he's a starseed, but he's not so open. And I plan on hypnotizing him once and hoping to trigger that for him. I want his head to blow up with all this stuff. Not literally blow up, but
Yeah, I mean, I am looking forward to that session. So many questions that I still need to be answered, but I'm sure it'll come in time, and hopefully it can help me on my journey. Yeah.
Yes. A flower must bloom in its own time.
Oh yeah.
And when it does, it's the most beautiful flower form.
Thank you.
I believe that. And everything is in divine timing, and I think you're a beautiful, wonderful soul, and that you needn't worry about anything because it's going to bloom. You're a blooming flower.
Yeah, I try to look at life as half full. So, stay positive and optimistic, and I think that I'll be given information at the right time. So, just same as meeting you guys here. I think timing is good and everything with the ascension, and we're all learning together.
Yes, yes, and I think we have to be spoon-fed little bits at a time.
Yes,
I
because
agree.
All of us, you know.
yes, because of our our human bodies are not so fast, so we can only take so much at a time. So yeah.
Yes, yes. I don't know how it's been for you guys, but for the way I've been feeling is just restless. Like I've been waking up at the middle of the night and my sleep patterns are disturbed. I'm having aches and pains in places that I wouldn't have thought. I'm like, why am I so sore? I didn't do anything, you know. And I really think that all of that's part of it.
Yes.
And I feel it's so important to try to get out into nature because the molecules of our body, we vibrate on the same frequency as her right now in the collective consciousness. So I feel that if we get out into nature and just sit and meditate, or even just sit in the park, if you can get to a place that is near you, even if it's a little bit of patch of earth, and just sit there and just let it flow through you into the ground. Put your feet on the ground and let it come through you. You will find that just after 15, 20 minutes that you feel so much better.
Right. I agree completely on that. I actually had a starseed girl I had hypnotized. She had a big old tree in her front yard. And she walks up and she grabs it and hugs it. And she goes, have you ever hugged a tree? And I'm like, no. And she goes, hug a tree. So she stepped back and I hugged it. And I kind of calmed myself. And it was like I felt the energy. And I was like, that's amazing that trees are alive, but to feel them like that, I was like, whoa. It was very, very faint. You really had to pay attention. It was interesting.
And I think the more that you practice it, it's like any other muscle. So the more that you practice being in nature, little bits at a time, the more you're going to understand the consciousness of plants,
right,
animals, and flowers, and bees, and everything else you're going to start seeing and resonating. And I feel the Blu-Ray elven energy and a lot of the elven oversoul. We come from the elements, so they're actually elemental spirits coming through in that fashion. And we come in with that ability to be able to talk to the animals or telepathically communicate. It's like they're fascinated, you know.
Yeah.
But being elemental, you kind of like can tap into that. But I believe everybody can do this. So that is a gift that anybody can access.
Yeah.
So the Blu-ray energy or any other energies is like a prism of light. If you hold up a prism to the light and you see one beam come through, it's split into all of these colors, that's us.
Yes.
So I feel that we can all access any of these energies that's coming from the one light that we all hold together.
Right.
So, yeah.
That was interesting. Yeah, I have a lot of crystals all through my house. I need more. I'm addicted to them.
Yes, I am too.
And I noticed, I don't know if you noticed, Kong, when we were in the meeting on my Facebook page, she talked a lot with her hands, but the way she moves her hands and everything, I was like, I think it was a message. I don't know. But I'm like, oh, she, what did I say? You do light codes with your hands or something like that?
Yeah.
She's like, I do.
That's interesting.
I feel like, and Arcturian energy, your energy, I feel can connect with that. Because for Blu-ray and Arcturians, a lot of us don't have to say too much to communicate.
Right.
We communicate through symbols or the chanting of a voice or the movement of the body. That's how we would preferably communicate in the higher dimensions where we're from.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that on this existence, that's why you picked right up on that. You're like, oh, okay.
That looks familiar. It was so elegant. I mean, you don't talk like with your hands like everybody else, you know, you do this or whatever. You were just so elegant and in describing things, and I'm like, I know that.
I teach belly dance for healing.
Yeah.
And also the anchoring of the higher realms to earth through dance, and worship through dance.
Nice.
I feel like that goes back to my life in Lemuria. I feel that during those times, that was like the pinnacle of expression and art through source coming directly down through us. And I've lived many lives as temple priestess where I danced for worship. So I'm coming through, and I've integrated that for the purpose that it was in the ancient days.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of channeling or healing movements of the body, I think, would be good for humanity, because intrinsically, I think everybody can dance.
Yeah.
And that's a language.
I'm not so sure about
everybody understands it.
I try to dance, although I struggle, but I'm here alone, so sometimes I just don't care. And I'll play music and I'll just kind of do my thing. It makes you feel good, too.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yes, it's a creative expression. I believe that it comes straight from source.
Mm-hmm.
And all over the world, it doesn't matter what type of dance it is. Without saying anything, we know and we can speak that language and understand when we see it.
Exactly.
So it has a healing principle.
Yeah.
To it.
Do you speak light language also?
I do.
Can you say something?
Well, I can, but I would have to get into being in the moment or the presence.
I understand.
So I can, it'll just take me a minute.
Okay, I mean, do you want to?
It's up to you.
Okay, go ahead.
Sashakana wasahala maya karamasa shihila. Maria Sashakiana Wahamahale Kiana Masashihila Mahala Wakiana Masashukua. Mahya Masashihila Mahayakana Masashukuana. Maya Sashihana Walakia Masi.
That was absolutely beautiful. I got tingles all over. Oh my gosh.
That's very interesting.
I loved it. Do you know everything that you said?
Yes, I do. Yes,
okay,
I do.
translate for me.
I believe I'm speaking peace. I said, peace be upon you, peace for everybody listening, and to be able to channel those upper realms. It's like an energetic feeling. So the feelings that are provoked in you is what is being translated. I believe that light language has that ability to telepathically give the message to anybody that hears. But what I understand when I'm channeling it through is I'm always declaring sovereignty and peace to every single person's soul connected to the planet. And what I feel is like this tree, and we're all part of the tree branches that are coming out. So when I'm saying it, I'm directly speaking to everybody.
Wow.
Declaring sovereignty, declaring peace, and declaring unconditional love.
That's beautiful.
So it's like more like a declaration or a,
Mm-hmm.
or a like a stand up and say something kind of
Yeah.
kind of
Spread
thing.
that energy.
Yeah, yes, yeah. It's like not like an everyday conversation like you would have over tea.
No, definitely not.
It's more like I tap into the oversoul.
Nice.
and just declare what they know for us, which is you are love.
Mm-hmm.
You are
Yay!
loved. You are so loved. Every one
Aww.
of us is so loved.
Exactly. Yeah. Even in my research of star seeds and our higher selves and everything, you're supposed to love it. It shocks me a little, but then the more I'm awakened and sending and everything, I'm like, okay, it makes sense how you're supposed to even love the people who murder and kill. And we're supposed to send them love and in hopes that they change and everything, because they're human too, making mistakes. Mm-hmm. But when I was little, I was getting that message. You're supposed to love everything. Mm-hmm. And I remember thinking, well, right now I don't love my mom and I don't love my stepdad. Yes. I was going through a lot of abuse then, but growing up, I'm like, I don't know, it was like everywhere I turned, I got that. You're supposed to love everything. So, I try.
Yes, yes. And I think that's part of our ascension, too. Mm-hmm. For every one of us is really realizing that we are all one. And to me, I'm like, well, if we are one, then how could we be one with somebody that's so murderous or evil?
Right.
And my mind thought of spiritual age and body age, how spiritual age and body age are two different things. So if they are a young soul, kind of like, to me, how you would look at a child and realize that they don't know what they're doing when they're misbehaving or being bad, or throwing a temper tantrum when they're terrible too. You know, like they don't realize what they're doing because their souls are so young.
Oh yeah.
So it's kind of like looking at even the evil ones in that way, to say, you are blessed, I bless you because you're young and learning. Maybe there will be one day where they can cycle through them.
Right.
And come out of them.
In a positive way.
Yes. Yes. There's higher beings that have actually went through that learning process too, to where they cycled out of that.
Yeah. I think I was one of them. I went through a lot and rebelled a lot, and it shaped me to who I am today. But now knowing who I am, I'm like, well, I had to go through that for a reason, and I accept it, you know. I've noticed too that star seeds choose a very hard life to go through. Not every single one of them, but quite a bit of them. And all through Facebook, you see them say, I'm tired of this life. Everybody's hateful. I just want to die.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's horrible. We shouldn't feel that way, but we do.
Yes, that is a huge thought form that I'm seeing now. It's like, as we're gripping away from 3D, it's almost like a sundering or a tearing. And I feel that the support that they need is not there yet. Mm-hmm. But as the collective grows, they'll find it. They'll find that support that they need. But you're absolutely right. I've seen so many spirits right now that are having a hard time with it and the things that they're going through. But I do feel, again, for our own ascension, that everything is in perfect rhythm or timing and happening as it should. And I definitely understand that very, very much so.
Right, yeah.
Because as a Blu-ray and many other old schools that came in, we actually came in to heal the mutated DNA. I feel certain families are not our own.
Right.
We have a physical earthly family that gave us the conduit to get in to 3D. Mm-hmm. But many of the ones who are having such a hard time just haven't realized yet that they are actually here because their light is so bright, and because they chose to come into that sort of environment. They're actually, just by being born of that line on Earth, they're actually healing that genetically mutated DNA that spans back thousands of years.
Right.
I came to realize that my own family, this goes back very deep, like all the way back to Atlantis, to where their karma of this family line has become so great that it's like I see a big tangled rat's nest, like a ball of karma. They can't get out of it. Once you've done it and you're cycling back over and over, and then you have this huge mess, you're just going to keep coming in, so you have to figure out a way to clear it.
Yep.
That's where the lords of karma come in, and that's where the earth souls, the ones who are hurting right now, they need to know this, that they're actually the most beautiful light and gift that they could have ever been to that family line, because just by being born into it, you have cleared them, and now they can start fresh in their life. So yes, I absolutely agree and can resonate with that.
Right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yes. It's a very hard mission.
It is.
But we were strong enough to see it through. So.
Right. I don't think I volunteered. I'm not 100% sure. I think I was instructed. And that came through a hypnosis of somebody I was hypnotizing. Or it was mine. I can't remember. I've done so many. But they said that I was told that, and they weren't rude about it, they were caring about it, and I don't remember the exact words, but they were saying they need you down there, and you need to go. And it was like, okay.
Yep. Mine's a little bit similar to that, because there is this like a schism of Blu-ray people that feel that they have to be a certain age group. I've been seeing this more and more. They feel like they have to be between the ages of 40 and 60, or they have to be boxed in. And I feel that some of us, it doesn't matter, like the age group. I feel like that was a big wave, kind of like the Indigos when they came in the 60s. And they smashed in there, and you had the whole revolution and the hippie era and all of that, and the Indigo children came in. I feel like it was the same for the Blu-ray. There was this wave, but then there was like a little sprinkling that's coming in afterwards, and more are coming out now, even younger. So I'm excited to see this, that more of these soul groups are coming through. It's like a big wave come in, and then little waves are coming in.
Yeah.
And I feel it might just be like that, like you watch the rolling ocean waves.
Oh yeah.
Souls are coming in.
Yeah.
So
I know three
boxing in, yeah.
Yeah. 3 of my kids are star seeds, and one is iffy about it, but the other 2 are the ones that say I'm crazy. And they're powerful. I can just feel them, especially my youngest. But we can't interfere. We want to just help them wake up. But with free will, you can't force that. You just can't say, we need you now, wake up. Because when their time is ready, when they wake up, is when it's their turn. It's that wave that's their turn.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I believe that very much so. That just by your presence and living in your truth and just being you, and just living in your own presence, that's enough.
Yeah.
To be able to shine the light and give the love. And then when the time is right and they come to you, then you're prepared to be able to guide and to help them with questions, anything that they come to you. I know as a mother myself, and for my own son, it was that way. Because he had gifts as a child. I believe that came from me. And I just let him be. I just let him grow. And now he's almost 18. So he's coming through and he's starting to ask more questions. So that's where I'm just here to be a guide.
Mhm.
way sure when he comes and asks me. So
Right. Yeah.
I just want to mention that we're almost at an hour on the video.
I was just supposed to ask you how long has it been. I told Reva about your interview next week about Buddhism, and she's excited. I told her two of your brothers were monks. Is that right?
Yeah, they're ex-monks now, but yes,
Yeah.
they were. So yeah, I'm really excited to share all that stuff. There's so much to learn, even for old souls like you guys. So yeah.
You're an old soul too.
yes.
Yep. Yeah, I'm not denying that.
That's funny.
Well, I've already
Okay.
got my questions wrote down for Kong. I'm just letting you guys know.
Yay!
I'm
Cool.
super stoked about this because a lot of my questions actually, it has to do with my own ascension and the things that I've seen that I'm very excited to ask Kong about.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I guess we're gonna go ahead and end this out.
Okay. Yeah.
Reva, I'm glad
Sorry.
to have had you on my channel.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. And thank you, Laura, for your presence and your light. And thank you, Kong, for your presence and your light. Namaste.
Namaste. Love and light.
Love and light.
Bye.
Thank you
Bye,
very
Kong.
much. Have a good day.
You too.
Yeah.